Now, all three bikes on tonight's show look to have been pretty well looked after, but if you're buying privately, that's not always the case. This old Suzuki Bandit, for example, has obviously been ridden through the winter and not very well serviced, and is now starting to suffer the effects of corrosion on its rear brake caliper down here, as you can see. Now, there is something that can be serviced in the workshop, but it's something that you may not want to try at home. But the first thing to notice on an old brake caliper when you're looking at a second-hand bike is the bleed nipple there. And in this particular case, this one is sheared off, and if you do come across something like that, that can be expensive and troublesome to service. This caliper is from an old 850 Suzuki, which is a similar design to the Bandit, although slightly older. But I'd service it by removing these two bolts here and then splitting the caliper into two halves. Now, with these two bolts removed, when I do pull the brake caliper apart, what you'll see is the housings for the two brake caliper pistons, which are here and here. Now, I've cheated slightly here because I've removed the pistons in advance because they were simply so badly seized in. But that's a caliper piston, and that's where it lives inside there, and you would normally have hydraulic fluid behind there. When you apply the brake, it pushes the piston outwards to press the brake pads against the disc. You can see the amount of corrosion there is on there. That can all be cleaned up, and that can be rebuilt with new seals, but the caliper piston itself is quite badly rusted, and that will have to be replaced. Now, up at the front end of the bike we have a slightly different design. This is a floating caliper. What I mean by that is the caliper body has to be able to move sideways on this mounting bracket, which is bolted to the fork leg. Now, the whole caliper is mounted on with these two steel pins here, and they can corrode in place. You can see there's quite a lot of rust on that. Now, it's fairly easy to dismantle the caliper and clean those up and grease them using special brake grease so that doesn't seize up again. But we've also got a hydraulic system inside the caliper body, which is there, and again you can see the amount of corrosion that there is in there. And just look at the state of that caliper piston. That will obviously have to be replaced. Final word about brakes though, if you're in any doubt about the condition of your bike, do take it down to your local dealership and have the brakes checked by professionals. And now, back to you, Fran.